Hey everyone! Today we're going to make puffer fish out of polymer clay. And Chico, of course, is going to help us as always. Aren't you, Chico? And you can choose your own colors. You're going to start with 2 colors that you want to mix. So I'm pulling these into tiny pieces right now, and I'm going to marble these colors. So I've kind of done them in little patches like this to mix them together. And I'm just going to kind of swirl the colors together here. And so I've kind of mixed and matched them together. And I'm not going to over mix them. I want to mix them just a little bit so that it starts to kind of swirl like that. So once your colors are sort of mixed, you can start to flatten them out like that. You're going to take one of these clay tools and you're going to roll out your clay as flat as you can and make it relatively thin. Once I've rolled this out into pretty thin, about that thick, what I can do is I can pick it up. You guys notice how I always keep it on the paper? That keeps the clay clean and it keeps the table clean. Look how neat that looks. So using this will be the outside of my puffer fish. So I'm going to use the flat surface as opposed to this kind of more bumpy surface to be the outside. So what I want you to do is you're going to take foil now and you're going to put it in a ball like this. So I'll demonstrate that. You're going to make it as round as you can. So kind of just gently see how work it in like this, and then get it tighter and tighter until it's like a little ball. And try to push down any of the corners, make them as smooth as you can. Okay, so when you have this little ball, and you can kind of push it into the table too if you have any big corners sticking out, push the table. But you do want one side of it to be a little bit flat because you don't want your puffer fish to roll all over the place, right? You want it to be able to sit straight without rolling around. So what you're gonna do is kind of push one end on the bottom like that. Okay, and if you mess it up, you can try it again. But that's the basic shape of the bottom. Now that I have the basic shape like that, I'm going to go ahead and take the smooth side and put it around the outside of my puffer fish like this. So I'm going to put it like that and try to close it all the way onto the bottom. And it looks like I have a little extra, which is great because I'm going to use that for another part of my puffer fish. So I want that bottom to be a little bit more flat, and I want to take my time and really smooth out the different edges on my puffer fish. It might not be a perfect circle, but that's okay. And I'm going to choose where I want the tail and where I want the fin. So I'm going to take this leftover clay here and flatten it out, like not as much, like kind of a little bit thicker. See how this is a little bit thicker? And then from that, I can cut out that kind of mohawk shape. So I can use my clay needle for that. And I can, let's see, I can do a flat kind of bottom. And then I can kind of, let's see, oh, I don't remember how I did this. Okay, so I'm gonna go like that and like that, and then kind of a round shape. So I don't really know how to describe that. Do you see the shape I just made though? It's kind of like a fan shape. It's like a fan. So I've got one, and I'm gonna make one more, and I'm gonna fan out kind of like the letter V, I guess. You'd say like the letter V with a flat bottom. It's like a big flat bottom V fanning outward like that. And then I'll make this kind of round up top like a bubble. Okay, so now I can add a little bit of texture to these. So I can do that by using my needle and kind of drawing in it like this and making little lines. And that just gives the tail a little bit of texture. Makes it kind of fun. And I can do that on the other side too. A little bit of texture, making lines in there. Okay, and now I can decide where I want my tail on here. I guess I'll put it right here. This is kind of flat in the back. So I'm gonna go ahead and do my tail on the back like this, and then push it in there. And then I can also use this needle to kind of, see how I'm using that to kind of push it into the clay? You can do that too. That'll help prevent it from falling off. So that's a good thing to do. So now I have the tail on the back of my puffer fish, and I'm gonna add this as the fin on top. So I can do the same thing. I can do my little lines here to add a little bit of texture. Okay, and now I can put it on top of my fish like that and kind of fix it into place how I want it once I pushed it on there. And again, with my needle, I can just kind of get this side of it like this. And now, let's see, this extra clay you might just collect in a ball, this marbled clay. If you've got a lot of it, maybe you can use it for a tiny little project if you finish early. So I want to mention, I forgot to say, when you're switching colors with polymer clay, in between colors, you always want to use some hand sanitizer because it helps get the color off of your fingernails and fingers. And it is super important to do that because it'll contaminate the other colors. So I kind of get this and rub it into my fingers like this and into my fingernails, and then I take a paper towel and I wipe it off like that. Now it's really important to take time to do that anytime you switch colors. So now we're gonna do the eyes. I'm gonna take this little ball like this, and I'm gonna roll it in a ball. My finger, I can also do it on the paper like that. And I want it to be about that size. Now I'm gonna take it on my puffer fish and I'm gonna gently smash it. Okay, and that's gonna make one of the eyeballs, and I'm gonna try to make one about the same size too. So now I've got this on there, and I'm gonna gently flatten it with my finger. I'm gonna take a smaller ball of black. So I've got some black here, and I've got a much tinier ball, and I'm gonna put it on my puffer fish like that. See how it's much tinier? And then I'm gently gonna smash it into the clay. So I'm rolling that ball very carefully, and then I'm gonna put it in the center, and then I'm gonna gently push it with my finger. All right, I'm switching to pink now, so I'm gonna use a little bit more hand sanitizer, rub it in my fingers, rub it in my nails, and wipe with the paper towel. So I'm taking just a little bit of pink clay, and I'm rolling it like a snake. So you can roll it with your finger like a snake, like that. And then you can take it and turn it around in a circle. And I've got a little extra, so I'm gonna pinch it off with my nail. And now I'm gonna add this. Look how cute that is, oh my gosh. That's so adorable. It is time to add some spikes to our puffer fish. I'm gonna try to add about 10 on each side. If you do less than that, it's okay, but I would do like at least 5 on each side. So I'm taking a tiny piece of clay, I'm rolling it in my fingers, I'm flattening the bottom, and then I'm doing like a really pointy tip between my fingers, make it really pointy. You can make your spikes big or long, and I'm gonna add it there. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and make a few of these. And so I'm just, again, I'm kind of pinching, making the end really pointy with my fingers like that, and flattening the bottom where it's gonna stick onto the fish, and just sticking them directly on there. And then taking the clay needle and just kind of lightly kind of blending it in the side. See how I'm kind of pushing down on the clay so it blends? I'm kind of taking it on the side and then smashing it in to the clay. And then you can just kind of blend out any little scratches you accidentally add. You can kind of smooth them out with your tool like that, okay? Here's my finished puffer fish, yay! When you're all done, be sure to take any of the extra colors you have and put them back in the bags that you got them out of so that we can save them and not waste colors.